In today's modern life, pulling out a phone to order a bubble tea or call a ride has become a mundane habit, so common that few pause to consider the hidden dangers. But one university student, just like countless others, unsuspectingly hailed a ride late at night. The moment she opened the door and stepped inside, the door of fate slammed shut behind her. A wicked trap had already been set, and no matter how desperately she fought, there was no escape. In the end, she was stabbed over 120 times. Blood soaked the car, painting everything around her in red. The brutality of this crime sent an entire university into panic and exposed a terrifying risk that had been long overlooked. In fact, this case even pushed lawmakers to introduce a new, vital law to protect passengers from those who exploit ride-hailing services to commit crimes. So what exactly happened to this young student? You're watching True Crime Files, a place where we uncover the most mysterious cases and chilling stories you may have never heard before. As usual, before diving into this shocking murder case that rocked Columbia, South Carolina, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for updates. Now let's take a closer look at this chilling case. Columbia is the largest city and capital of South Carolina. Steeped in history, it has served as the state capital since 1786 and has developed into a crucial hub for commerce and transportation. However, during the American Civil War, Columbia was nearly destroyed before being rebuilt into the modern city it is today. It was also here, in this very city, that a tragedy befell a young woman named Samantha. Samantha Josephson was a senior at the University of South Carolina, just 2 months away from graduation. Bright and ambitious, she was preparing to pursue a master's degree in law, with dreams of becoming a skilled and passionate attorney. Born on August 13, 1997, in Princeton, New Jersey, Samantha grew up in an educated, close-knit family. Her parents were both highly accomplished individuals, and she had an older sister, just 2 years her senior. From a young age, Samantha was a lively and mischievous girl, often making her family burst into laughter with her antics. Friends and relatives adored her for her infectious positivity and kind heart. Academically gifted, she consistently excelled in her studies and was a source of pride for her teachers and family. After graduating from high school, she was accepted into the University of South Carolina, majoring in political science. Throughout college, Samantha was an active and high-achieving student. She was a member of the Alpha Gamma Delta sorority, an organization that promotes academic excellence, leadership, and community involvement among women. She also participated in a student exchange program in Barcelona, which allowed her to travel and see the world. During those travels, she witnessed injustices firsthand, experiences that deepened her resolve to pursue a legal career and fight for justice. Samantha dreamed of becoming a human rights lawyer, inspired by Amal Clooney, a renowned British attorney known for her work in international law and human rights. In her sophomore year, Samantha met Greg, a student 1 year above her, at a bar, and the two quickly became close. They started dating not long after. When Greg graduated in 2018, he returned to his hometown in Mount Pleasant, about a 2-hour drive from Columbia, to start working. Despite the distance, they maintained a strong relationship through video calls and weekend visits. In 2019, with just 2 months left until graduation, Samantha received incredible news. She had been accepted into a prestigious law school with a partial scholarship. Less than 10 minutes later, she was informed that another university, Drexel, had also accepted her and offered a full scholarship. After careful consideration, Samantha chose Drexel to ease her family's financial burden. Greg supported her decision and even began job hunting in Philadelphia so they could be together. Everything was falling into place. Samantha had both love and a bright future ahead, but no one could have predicted that one fateful night would bring it all to a brutal end. On the night of March 28, 2019, Samantha and her friends went to 5 Points, a lively area filled with bars and nightclubs located just 1.5 kilometers from their university. That night, they gathered at a place called the Bird Dog. Around 2 a.m., feeling tired, Samantha decided to leave early. No one knew then it would be the last time anyone saw her alive. After leaving the bar, Samantha's phone went silent. She didn't respond to any messages, and her friends and family began to worry. The next morning, on March 29th, Her roommate searched everywhere, but found no trace of her. At 1:30 p.m., they reported her missing to the police. Even though she had been missing for less than 24 hours, authorities launched a swift investigation. Officers immediately visited her apartment to question her roommate and collect details about Samantha's appearance and what she was wearing the night she disappeared. They spread her photo across media channels, hoping someone in the community might have seen her. And indeed, someone had. Around 4 p.m. on March 29th, police received a crucial tip from Clarendon County, southeast of Columbia, roughly 100 kilometers from the bar where Samantha was last seen. Two hunters had stumbled upon a young woman's lifeless body lying in the bushes beside a rural road. Officers rushed to the scene and confirmed the victim was indeed Samantha, the girl they had been desperately searching for. A preliminary autopsy revealed numerous shallow yet sharp wounds across her body, concentrated on her head, wrists, and back. It was estimated that she had been stabbed at least 120 times. The sheer number of wounds was so overwhelming that the medical examiner couldn't even provide an exact count. This was clearly the work of someone utterly ruthless, someone devoid of humanity. But the most horrifying detail was yet to come. The coroner determined that the wounds weren't caused by a regular knife. Instead, the injuries appeared to have been made by a bizarre, dual-bladed weapon, two blades positioned side by side. The cuts on her body were symmetrical and precise. Even the forensic team struggled to identify the weapon used. Then came the most chilling discovery. Samantha's body was nearly drained of blood. For a woman of her weight, her body should have contained at least 4,000 milliliters of blood. But the team only recovered 20 milliliters, barely enough to run basic tests. That meant nearly all her blood had been drained from her body. The cause of death was ruled as acute blood loss. Experts estimated the process would have taken 10 to 20 minutes, a span of time during which Samantha must have endured unimaginable pain and hopelessness. The moment her family and boyfriend received the devastating news, they were utterly shattered. No one could believe that a vibrant, radiant soul like Samantha could be taken in such a brutal, senseless way. At the University of South Carolina, where Samantha studied, shock and mourning filled the campus. Fear spread rapidly among students. After all, everything Samantha did that night, going out with friends, using her phone to hail a ride, were things any college student might do. That terrifying realization hit home. Anyone could become a victim. For the police, the pressure was immense. If they didn't quickly identify and arrest the killer, thousands of students would continue living in fear. The investigation team decided to focus on the most critical lead, the last known location and time Samantha was seen on the night of March 28th. Her friends who had gone out drinking with her recounted the evening. "We were hanging out and drinking at the bar. Although Samantha didn't seem to be in the best mood, she acted normal for the most part. Around 2 a.m., she told us she was going home to sleep and left before the rest of us." Samantha's boyfriend Greg also gave a statement. "We were texting that night. Her parents were sick, so she wasn't feeling great. We chatted until about 2:04 a.m. She said she had called an Uber and that the car was arriving. That was the last message I got from her. She never replied again." Greg revealed that the two of them shared location data on their phones, and when he checked later, he noticed something strange. Instead of heading north toward her apartment, Samantha's route showed her traveling southeast. Alarmed, he began calling and texting, but received no response. Even more concerning, her location sharing suddenly shut off, something that had never happened before. At first, Greg didn't call the police, thinking she might have gotten distracted. But as daylight came and there was still no word from her, he immediately drove to Columbia to search for her himself. Before notifying the authorities, he even went to Samantha's apartment and worked with her roommate to try and track her down. In the process, he managed to find a surveillance video showing Samantha calling a ride on the street that night. Realizing something was terribly wrong, he brought the footage to the police. This crucial clue helped investigators identify the key moment when Samantha went missing after calling a ride. That meant the ride-hailing driver could very well be the perpetrator. Police quickly contacted Uber and identified the driver who had accepted Samantha's request. His name was Marcus. When questioned, Marcus admitted that he had accepted a ride from Samantha that night, but claimed she never showed up, so he canceled the trip after waiting. This raised a new and alarming possibility. Had Samantha gotten into the wrong car? Following this lead, Investigators pulled surveillance footage from nearby street cameras. Around 2 a.m. on March 29th, Samantha was seen standing alone at a street corner, waiting for her ride. She wore an orange-red raincoat, black jeans, and held her phone in hand. Despite the late hour, the area was still bustling with young people. No one appeared to be watching or approaching her. She stood calmly at the pickup spot. Nothing seemed unusual. Soon after, a silver car pulled up near Samantha. She walked forward, thinking it was her Uber. But just as she approached, the car sped off. Clearly, it wasn't her ride. Samantha returned to her spot and waited again. Then, at exactly 2:12 a.m., a black Chevrolet Impala stopped beside her. This time, Samantha stepped forward again and got into the car without hesitation. Moments later, the car vanished into the darkness. When officers reviewed additional surveillance footage from the surrounding area, they noticed something suspicious. The same black Chevrolet had been circling the neighborhood repeatedly. Each time, it would slow down at the exact corner where young people were waiting for rides, linger for a few minutes, then drive off. It was as if the driver was hunting, looking for someone to prey upon. The night Samantha disappeared, she wasn't just unlucky, she was targeted. With no clear image of the license plate or the suspect's face, the police had only one solid clue. A black Chevrolet Impala had been lurking around 5 Points. From there, officers intensified patrols, keeping a close eye on every Chevrolet Impala moving through the city. Usually, when killers realize they're being hunted, they go into hiding. But not this time. In less than 24 hours, police spotted a car matching the description cruising near 5 Points. They wasted no time and pulled the vehicle over. A man wearing a white hoodie was in the driver's seat. As soon as he stepped out, he suddenly bolted, running from the scene. What's more, there was a female passenger still inside the car, confused and frightened. Police quickly chased and apprehended the fleeing suspect. The fact that he ran without being questioned was a major red flag. Though arrested, the man refused to answer any questions. He simply claimed he was having trouble breathing and asked to be taken to a hospital. But after a medical exam, doctors confirmed he was perfectly fine. To confirm his identity, police took fingerprints and a photo of the suspect. The results came back. His name was Nathaniel Rowland, 24 years old. Meanwhile, another team of investigators began a preliminary search of his vehicle. What they found was chilling. Inside the car, officers discovered a large quantity of cleaning chemicals, including bleach and disinfectants, a pink iPhone, later confirmed to belong to Samantha, and most disturbing of all, visible bloodstains on the back seat. It was clear, this car wasn't just transportation, it was a crime scene. Forensic specialists were quickly dispatched to conduct a thorough examination. Under luminol testing, the entire back seat lit up, revealing massive amounts of blood that had soaked deep into the upholstery. One seasoned investigator, with over 25 years of experience, said it was the most horrifying scene he had ever encountered in a vehicle. The blood volume inside the car matched the nearly complete loss of blood from Samantha's body, confirming that this was where she had been killed. DNA tests showed that the blood was a perfect match to Samantha. The footprint on the rear window matched her shoe and the pink iPhone. It still had Samantha's lock screen photo. But that wasn't all. Under Nathaniel's fingernails, forensic analysts found traces of Samantha's DNA, further tying him to the crime. What made it worse? The spot where Samantha's body was found was just 3 kilometers from Nathaniel's home, an area he knew intimately. Faced with this damning evidence, prosecutors officially charged Nathaniel Rowland with first-degree murder and kidnapping. Samantha's devastated family demanded that Nathaniel be denied bail, calling him a dangerous predator. The judge agreed. Nathaniel would remain behind bars until trial. So who was Nathaniel Rowland? Born in 1994 in South Carolina, little is known about his early life. He was described as a rebellious child, often getting into trouble. In high school, he served as the captain of the basketball team and was well liked by his coach. But as he grew older, Nathaniel drifted into a reckless lifestyle, unemployed, irresponsible, and frequently entangled in shady activities. In October 2018, just a few months before Samantha's murder, 2 men in Colombia kidnapped a woman and robbed her at home. Hours after the crime, police found Nathaniel in possession of items stolen from the victim, strongly suggesting that he had either participated in or benefited from the abduction. That case was still under investigation when Samantha's murder occurred. The signs were clear. Nathaniel wasn't just a troubled young man. He was a repeat offender, capable of violent crimes. Despite overwhelming evidence, Nathaniel continued to plead innocent, insisting that he was wrongly accused. The prosecution, however, worked tirelessly to piece together every clue and paint the full picture of what happened that night. On July 20th, 2021, the trial officially began. Prosecutors called 31 witnesses to the stand. Among them was a crucial voice, Maria, Nathaniel's girlfriend at the time. Maria agreed to cooperate with the investigation. She revealed that although she had known Nathaniel for a long time, they had only recently started dating. She confirmed that he owned a black Chevrolet Impala and frequently loitered around the Five Points area. On the night of March 28th, Nathaniel never returned home. Maria texted him, but he didn't reply. It wasn't until 7 a.m. the next morning that she saw his car parked nearby. In a rush to work, she didn't confront him. But during the ride, she noticed something that chilled her to the bone. The back seat was covered in blood. When she asked what had happened, Nathaniel coldly told her to mind her own business. Maria also saw a pink iPhone in the car. When she asked about it, Nathaniel said he had found it, planned to wipe the data, and gift it to her. She declined, saying she didn't like iPhones. That evening, when she returned from work, she noticed Nathaniel's bloody clothes in the laundry. He also had a collection of bleach and disinfectants, which he used to scrub down the car. When she questioned him, he became aggressive and shoved her away, but not before she caught a glimpse of a bloody double-bladed knife. Terrified by Nathaniel's behavior, Maria stayed silent, living in constant fear. But when the police came knocking, it felt like a weight had been lifted off her chest. She was finally ready to tell them everything. Based on Maria's testimony, investigators searched the area around her home. In a nearby trash bin, they made a horrific discovery: a double-bladed knife, just like the one Maria had described. Forensic tests revealed that its unique design perfectly matched the symmetrical wounds found on Samantha's body. Even more damning, traces of Samantha's blood and DNA were still on the blade. Also found in the trash, Nathaniel's blood-stained clothes, a blood-soaked bedsheet, towels and gloves, all later confirmed to belong to Samantha. These were the smoking guns, irrefutable evidence tying Nathaniel directly to the murder. The police didn't stop there. They also gathered a trove of digital evidence. Phone GPS data showed that in the early hours of March 29th, both Samantha's and Nathaniel's phones left Columbia and followed the same route along Highway 378, leading directly to the location where her body was found. At 5:43 a.m., someone attempted to use Samantha's debit card at a Wells Fargo ATM. Surveillance footage captured a man, face covered, repeatedly trying to withdraw cash. He failed multiple times, then left. A witness saw this unfold. While the footage didn't capture his face clearly, the man's build and height matched Nathaniel. Around 11 a.m., Nathaniel went to a thrift shop and tried to sell a pink iPhone, Samantha's phone. When the clerk powered it on, the lock screen showed Samantha's photo. When asked where it came from, Nathaniel gave vague, contradictory answers. The shop refused to buy it, and the phone was later found in his car. With this mountain of evidence, prosecutors were confident. Nathaniel Rowland was guilty beyond a doubt. But the trial didn't go as smoothly as expected. At trial, Nathaniel's defense team tried to raise doubt wherever they could. Their key argument? Samantha's DNA was not found under Nathaniel's fingernails. They claimed that if she had been brutally attacked, as the evidence clearly showed, she would have fought back. If so, there should have been traces of her attacker's DNA beneath her nails. This, they argued, proved Nathaniel's innocence. But the prosecution struck back. They explained that if the attack had been swift, sudden, and overwhelming, Samantha might not have had a chance to fight back. Or even if she did, she could have grabbed only his clothing, not his skin. Moreover, forensic reports showed that Samantha's nails had been trimmed shortly after her death, an act the prosecution argued was done deliberately by the killer to destroy evidence. When this defense strategy failed, Nathaniel's lawyers brought in character witnesses. His cousin testified that Nathaniel had been drinking and passed out the night of the murder. His father claimed Nathaniel lost his car keys that night and only found them the next morning, suggesting someone else could have taken his car to commit the crime. They described Nathaniel as a playful troublemaker, but not someone capable of such monstrous violence. His former basketball coach, family friends, and even his pastor all echoed the same sentiment. He's a good kid. He couldn't have done this. But none of it was enough to counter the crushing weight of the evidence. On July 27th, 2021, after just 1 hour of deliberation, the jury delivered a unanimous verdict: guilty on all counts. In the final moments, Nathaniel's mother begged the judge for mercy, insisting her son was compassionate and incapable of murder. But the judge didn't flinch. He declared, "This was one of the most heinous and cold-blooded crimes I have ever seen in my courtroom. There will be no leniency." Nathaniel Rowland was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Throughout the trial, and even as the sentence was read aloud, Nathaniel showed no emotion, no remorse, no regret. Just a cold, empty stare. It sent shivers down the spine of everyone in the courtroom. But while justice was served, the pain Samantha's family endured could never be erased. Her parents still break down at the thought of the more than 100 wounds inflicted on their daughter's body. In the aftermath, they came to a heartbreaking realization. Samantha died simply because she got into the wrong car. They turned their grief into action. Her parents launched the What's My Name Foundation, a campaign to promote safety when using rideshare services. They also established scholarships and funded community education programs. With relentless effort, they lobbied lawmakers to pass stricter rideshare safety regulations. In June 2019, South Carolina passed the Sami's Law, named in her honor. Under this law, all rideshare vehicles must display clearly visible signage in the front, back, and side windows. The driver's name, photo, and license plate must be displayed for passenger verification. Fines up to $500 and jail time up to 30 days can be imposed on those impersonating drivers. Criminals using rideshare apps to commit crimes can face up to 2 years in prison and $1,000 fines. The law also encouraged passengers to always ask, "What's my name?" Only real drivers would know the answer. Over time, other states followed suit. In 2020, New Jersey passed its own version of Sami's Law, and in 2023, it was officially adopted as federal law in the United States. Samantha's story is a brutal reminder of the dangers that can lurk behind everyday habits. Her death was a tragedy, but her legacy may have saved countless lives. And that is the story of Samantha Josephson. Thank you for following this case. If you found this story powerful or eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more true crime stories on Mystery Case.